So it always begins, always, with what is it the stakeholder wants? Anchor your conversation to that. If you're like, well, I can't do anything but the quantity game, Jay, what is it your boss wants from the quantity game? When you begin a conversation with somebody, you tend to start with your ideas or start with I. But foundational to something that I teach a lot is message design, is alignment. There's actually 4 phases that you want to move through in a good pitch. This could be a good blog post structure. This could be a good speech structure. This is actually where I learned it as a touring keynote speaker. This is good message design. There's 4 things you want to hit to speak to somebody else when you want to show them what you see, and maybe they're not seeing it yet. So to your point about like somebody who's talking to their boss or someone talking to their client, the 4 stages are align, agitate, assert, invite. So just imagine you walk up on a stage as a keynote speaker. It's an easy proxy or easy example for what we're talking about. I can't say, here's my idea. Later. Deuces, that's my time. No, I can't do that. I can't say to the boss either, nor should I, here's my idea. What do you think? But that's how we pitch people. Peer, boss, client, it's insanity. We want to give them our ideas. I'm like, you need to convince them that your ideas should exist. And so you need to align first. So using the speech as an example, you walk up on stage and they're going, how's this going to help me? And you have to respond with, well, you have this goal and this belief and this desire and this, here's you now and what you want. And they go, yeah, aren't I already trying to achieve that? And you're like, yes, here's the current approach. So again, that's a good starter for a speech, or at least a speech structure. It's good for a pitch to a boss or a client. Here's the goal you have. Here's the current approach. And they're like, yep, that's true. We're aligned. But now as a storyteller, you have to start agitating the pain. And so you say, but we have some problems with that approach. And if you detail those problems, you get one of 2 great reactions. Either, oh no, I didn't see it. Thank you for revealing that. Or they nudge their buddy like around the boardroom table or in the audience of a keynote and they're going, that's what I'm saying. Thank you for finally speaking out. Like, can we get Dan to come in and give a talk or execute his services? Or can we hire them for us? Because like, thank you. You get gratitude if you're just honest and saying, we have problems. Hey, we're driving all this traffic. It's not working. Marketers are scared to say, we're doing a lot of stuff. We're looking for new budget for new stuff. It's in the current stuff we're doing, which is not working. And that is not our fault. We are not the work. We have to have that ability to say, I actually want to speak to this problem. I actually want to call attention to the fact that the playbooks we laud are broken because they're from HubSpot in 2012 or whatever. Here's what's not working. And then if you're really good, you diagnose why. So here's your goal. Here's the current approach. Here are the problems with it. Here's the cause of those problems. Let's solve that. So that's what I'm in the business of doing for people, is saying, you're creating a lot of content. And then you're trying to tell stories to maybe accentuate the power of that content or push it harder, or you're chunking it into a million small pieces and repurposing it. All that is incremental stuff. All that is downstream from the actual diagnosable problem, which is you're sharing basic advice. You're a commodity. Expertise has been commodified today. It's foundational, but I can get it anywhere. And you don't want to show up as anywhere. That's the problem. You're not resonating. So I'm in the business of solving that problem. And then the reach part, which we all agonize over, that gets easier. So I've said, here's your goal. Here's your current approach. Here's the problems. By the way, I see an illness to these symptoms that we have to cure that. There's the root cause of the problems. Here's what it would look like. And here's how we do it. That is the structure of a better pitch.
That's a great structure. And you mentioned the importance of reach, but after you have a message that resonates, because it becomes easier.